This conference will now be recorded.
Today we are trying to understand how we can use Matillion with Snowflake. So let me share my screen. So whenever you are going to get the Matillion, right? Most of the people already know how to launch the Matillion. Here, basically with the help of Snowflake, we are going to launch Matillion. So here we can connect the partner connect, and then we can see here directly there is one option Matillion ETL and data loader. Just select this. There is one icon, it is showing we already launched. That's the reason this is already in use. You just click on it. You can get the message if you are doing first time, an account was previously created. Now if you are doing first time, you can able to launch it directly. Now first time, whenever I am clicking this, I am getting the message like you have already connected to the Matillion via Snowflake Partner Connect. Why? Because you already connected first time. That's the reason we are getting this message. So if you want to relaunch Matillion, so there should be one mail ID triggered. You just search to in your inbox whatever email ID you registered with Snowflake. Click on the Matillion. You can see this message like all the information saying like you are going to get the 14-day trial period. So here go to Matillion ETL. Here you are getting the EC2 user and password. Both details you can see. Based on these credentials, you just log into your Matillion. Just click on the go to Matillion ETL. So it's automatically, once you click to this particular link, it's going to provide one cloud URL which is going to connect your Matillion for the trial period. So by default, it's user already generated. Just I am using default credentials and that's going to log into your Matillion. Now click the login. So once you click the login option, you can see here by default everyone able to see the screen, and you can see there is a partner connect. Just click on the partner connect and you can see there is one folder Snowflake by default, and inside Snowflake you can find there is one folder called default. Just double click on this. So automatically you can able to route to your Snowflake. So even you don't have any knowledge and first time you are doing this process, and you can able to use Matillion with the basic knowledge. So here by default, whenever you log into your Matillion, there is some default jobs created by the Matillion team, which is very simple, which we can understand. So there is one small project they developed that is called dim airport setup, airports. So these two jobs already developed, and that's going to load data into your Snowflake tables. This is the job one and this is the job two. So these two jobs already developed. Now, today we are going to understand in detail about what these jobs going to do and how we can explain same thing in your interviews. So first, whenever you are going to do Matillion development, so first job is we are going to create orchestration job. So main criteria, main agenda, what we are trying to achieve this requirement. First, we need to understand the requirement. So what we are going to understand here. So the data which is available into the cloud bucket, that is S3, the data which is available into the S3 bucket, even the data which is in the form of semi-structured data. All the data which is available into the semi-structured format, we are going to convert the data to tabular format, structure format. all the data which is available into the JSON files. You are going to convert the data to the tabular format, and after that you are applying join condition with one of the other table. If that join condition is matching, then only you are going to process data into other table. This is what the main requirement we are doing. This is what the overall requirement, what is happening here. Now, today we are going to understand, we can see with the data also, we can see each and every step, what is happening here and how they are doing the transformations and how they are doing join conditions and how they are maintaining the null values and how they are defining the new columns in the data flow. All those points we are going to understand step by step. Okay. To start your Matillion job, whenever you are trying to start first job in Matillion, first you are going to develop the orchestration job. So whenever you are trying to develop some job, see, there are two types of jobs. See, first job is add orchestration job and second one is transformation job. So when we are going to do that orchestration job and when we are going to do the transformation job. So orchestration job basically, which is going to bring data from outside of your Snowflake, like the data which is available into the Amazon, or data which is available into the Google, or data which is available in Azure cloud storage. Whenever you are trying to bring data from outside to inside Snowflake, at that time we are going to develop orchestration job. The job which we are seeing here, this is called orchestration job. So if you want to identify orchestration job, always orchestration job is contained with the start symbol. This is the where your job is going to start. And also easily we can identify the orchestration job. Backside you can see the lines. Based on these lines also we can easily understand this is the orchestration job or it's a transformation job. Now we are clear, this is the orchestration job. This is the first job. We are going to create tables in the Snowflake environment. So whenever you click the orchestration job, so it's going to automatically, this start button is going to come. After that, we can add different components step by step. Now, this job, we don't have any tables in Snowflake. See, this is my Snowflake environment. It's completely empty. So we are using the SCD test as a database and score source schema as a schema, where we are going to create new tables in your Snowflake environment through the Matillion. Now, this is what next step. Now, the next thing is we are going to select the, we are going to create the tables. So first step is, whenever you are going to start the orchestration job, whether you have existing tables, we can reuse it. Now here in this process, we are going to create the three different tables, each and every table having different meaning. So to understand the first step, see here, create airport staging table. Just you can single click on here. Whenever you single click onto the staging airport table, if you observe carefully, here you can see clearly the properties, like which database you are going to create. You are going to create or replace the table. So if the table already exists, we are going to replace that. So here, if you see the component, these are all, we have different components. If you search whatever component here, you can get it. Now, so here the first step is we are going to create the table not exist. So that's the reason we are taking the create table component. So which is going to create the fresh table. So whenever if you see the properties of your create table component, you can find the, so if your table already exists, you just replace the existing table. For that purpose, we are using replace option. So, and also you're selecting the database, which database you want to create this table and which schema you want to create this table. Just now we discussed, I'm creating this particular table in the SCD test as a database and source schema as a schema name, and the table name, which table name you are going to create your table. Make sure that always you have to give the capital table names. Why? Because Snowflake table names are case sensitive. Whenever you are giving the smaller names, if you are trying to execute tables, so it's going to, sometimes you may get the invalid table if even table already exists. Make sure that, so but here in this example they created a small but I'm continuing with the same as of now. But whenever you are developing and creating new tables, always make sure that give the capital letters. Okay, that is what the table type is permanent, and what are all the columns available. So if you want to give whatever column names, just you can specify as per the business requirement. Now this is the semi-structured data, airport data. That's an it is having only one data type, variant data type. As we know, we are going to keep the variant data type for storing your semi-structured data. That is clear. So these are all the options we provided. Remaining options are blank. So you can see here. So if you see the green symbol, there is no errors. Whatever settings you are giving, if you there is one option here, cell SQL. Here you can find the syntax also based on the properties you are giving. See, it is going to create the create or replace table. SCD test is the database. Source schema is the schema name. Matillion staging airports. This is the table name. So, and this is the data type. According to the settings, whatever we provided, it's going to write one SQL statement, and that's going to generate one SQL script in the background. So, generally in Snowflake, we are writing, but Matillion generating scripts automatically as per the options we are providing. That is the table one. So in the same way, we are creating three different tables. This is the same syntax, whatever we are giving, same thing we are giving here also in the another table. If you see the same properties, we are creating the same another table, which is having some set of columns, name and code. Two columns are there. We are giving the varchar as a data type, and that's going to create here. So it's going to generate SQL statement, create or replace table, table name, Matillion US state lookup. So this is going to generate, and that's going to pass that. So it is having two different column names, and there is another table below. So which is going to, so this is create dimension table. So this is also, there is a third table which we are going to create and load the data. Now here it's not created the database. Just select the which table you want to use, select the database name and select the schema name. So this is the database name and schema. This is the main target table, the data which is coming from the staging table and US state table. So first table having semi-structured data, that is going to bring and load into the target table, and then US state table which is going to process having some set of state information. It's going to join between these two tables after loading into Snowflake, and then finally the data is going to load into this dimension table. This is what the requirement we are going to develop here. Now this table is not loading anything at this moment. This is empty now. So far what we learned, so we created three different Snowflake tables, which is having one table having the semi-structured data, and another table having some information about states, and another empty table we created where we are loading finally all the data into Snowflake tables after joining these two tables. This is what the requirement so far. Okay, and next step, so once we load create the table, till here tables getting created. After the next step is the data load avro data to the variant data type. Now this is the, so what is the component name? See this is very very important. You have to tell which components you used part of your project. So this is the S3 load component. So here you can here if you see my screen here, it's highlighted, right? Here we cannot see, this is the S3 load component. Means the data which is available into the S3, it is going to bring the data into the table, and that's going to load into the Snowflake, whatever empty table we created. Now this table is holding all the semi-structured data. Now see, this is the authentication and the data. This is provided by the Snowflake. It's their own S3 bucket. We are not processing our own data. That's the reason we are giving their own credentials. Okay, this data is available in sample jobs. That's going to pick that. So all the data which is available, and we are giving our target database table names like S3 test and source schema, all these things we provided, and that's going to load all the data. So here, once we load the data and it's going to process, right? So and in the same way load state names also, which is having, which is going to bring the data into from S3 to Snowflake. These two components is going to bring the data, and that's going to load data into Snowflake. Now, next thing is here. So for the data, whatever it is available, then that's going to bring data and keep the data into these two landing tables. So far it's clear, right? So first step, we created three tables, and after that we use the S3 component, which is going to bring data, whatever it's available to S3 bucket is going to bring into Snowflake tables, whatever we created just now. And next thing is, which is going to create the AND operator. So this is the AND component. So what it is going to do, it is going to check the conditions between all the tables. When all tables are loaded, whenever data getting processed into these bubbles, then only it's going to execute the next step. Okay, now whenever you run this job, what is going to happen, it is going to process the data, and here there is a last step. This is called dim airports transformation. See, this transformation logic, it is holding some logic which is going to process your data into this table, whatever dimension table we created, that's going to process. This is basically, it is calling from the other job. Now what is the other job here? Like, so there is another transformation job. This is all the orchestration job. We are calling transformation job also through the orchestration job. Now this dim airports job, what it is going to do, it's basically, it is going to convert semi-structured data to structured data, and then it is going to join the tables, and then it's going to process into the final table. That is what it's going to execute in the background. So if you want to see this logic, there is another job that is called transformation job. Now I'm going to select this transformation job. So this transformation job also calling through this orchestration job. Now, whenever come to the transformation job, as we know, so we have two different types of jobs. One is the orchestration job, and second one is the transformation job. So what is transformation job and what is orchestration job? So orchestration job is basically, it is going to bring data from external stages to Snowflake, and transformation job is nothing but the data, once it is available into the Snowflake, we are going to convert and apply some transformations. For that purpose, it is going to use as a transformation job. Now, so here first step is, we are going to take the table input. Now let's see. So the first component which we are talking about transformation job is, this is the JSON stage airports. So generally whenever you are taking the transformation job, always we have to take as a table inputs. So what is the table input here? Which table we are taking as an input? Like the table which we already loaded data, that is called Matillion stage airports. This table is basically loaded from the S3 bucket to Snowflake. So that's the reason it is going to bring the data to Snowflake, and it's going to keep as a semi-structured data. So we are taking that table as a empty data. So once you take the data, okay, once you take the input as a semi-structured data as an input, and next step what we are going to do, so we are going to convert the data into structural format. In Snowflake also we have different options like lateral, flat run, and so how we are going to convert the structure to semi-structured data, right? So if you see, this is the properties, and also you can select the SQL. So this is showing the Matillion staging airports is the unrecognized option. Why? Because first we need to execute this table, then it's going to create. Let me execute and see this table. Now I am executing this table. See, in my Snowflake, we don't have, this is the SCD test and source schema. We don't have all these tables. Now let's create and run this. It's basically, it's going to run the job. See, this job is running. First it is going to execute the create tables. If you want to monitor, click here and just expand this, and you can able to see what is happening. See, table created successfully. So whatever three tables created, and data loading is happening. So bringing data from S3 to Snowflake is in the process. 3376 records already processed, and there is another lookup table which is having the table information, which is going to get the 51 records. It's getting loaded. Okay, so first job. So now first orchestration job, whatever it is, it's getting created and then loaded data from S3 to Snowflake, and also this table also created, getting data into Snowflake. All these things are happening. Now if you want to see the data, refresh, see there is some three tables got created. So first table is Matillion staging airports. This is the data which is having JSON data. If you see this, see all the data which is having semi-structured data, which is having around 3000 records. Whenever you click this, see what are all the columns which is available here: airport, city, country, IATA, latitude, longitude, state. This is all the JSON data which is available into your stage. That data is coming from S3 to Snowflake. Now the next step is, this is what the one table it's got loaded, another table which is going to have the lookup data, which is having two columns, where you are running the business Alabama and the code is AL, Alaska and the code is AK, Arizona and the code is AZ. So like this, these two tables. Now we are going to the data which is available into the staging table. See, this is having something. So which country you are talking about? State, MS. So we are going to join the state, MS, and that's going to, when the join condition is matching with the other table, then only we are going to process the data. We are applying the join condition between your state and the other table. So the date, one table having the semi-structured data, another table having the tabular format data. So we are going to join between these two tables. Once you convert this data to tabular form, and we are applying the join between your state and that other table, if the values are matching, you are going to load the data into target table with some other columns also. This column, see, you are joining with the AL and AL, and you are bringing the Alabama also and processing that data into the final table. This is what the transformation and joins also you are applying part of the logic. So the first step is where the data, first orchestration job is going to process all the data into tables as a semi-structured data, and next step is the data is going to convert as a tabular form. Now see your transformation job. Now I'm showing the transformation job. This is the input job where you are going to take it as an input. Now from this input you are going to extract the, what is the column we are going to extract? So this Matillion stage airports having only airport data column. This is having airport. Select airport data from table, so that it's going to extract all the columns. So this is what it's extracted. And next step is we are going to see, this is very important component. Everybody should remember, we have to explain same thing in your interviews. So first the data which is available into the semi-structured data, and you are going to convert this data to the tabular format. For that we are using, what is the component we are using? Flattern component. So what is the name of this component? Flattern variant component. Like how we are having the flattern in our lateral flatten options in Snowflake, in Matillion also we are having same feature which is going to use it. Now I am using flatten variant component, the data which is coming from the source as a semi-structured data, and the data is going to process as a tabular format. For that I am using this table. See, automatically whenever you flatten this component, use this flatten component, so you can able to extract all the columns one by one. So this is the input column as a airport data, and which column you want to extract: airport, data, city, state, country, latitude, longitude, and we are assigning data types here. So once you extract whatever business columns you want to get it, automatically that data is going to, there is one SQL script that's generated in the background automatically. This is what we are writing in your Snowflake. So we are going to extract all the columns from the tabular input, and that's going to extract one by one. It's showing like airport data, and where we are assigning data types also. That is what the logic it is running in the background. So your flat run variant component is going to make this job very simple, and that's going to use it clearly. And this is what the data, whatever it is coming from the source as a JSON data, that's directly converting as a structural data with the help of fractal component, and that's going to process into the next layer. And there is another component. So why? Because this data may have some cleaning, like null value, some special characters. You want to clean the data. For that purpose, I'm using, there is one component name called filter. So this is another filter component which we are eliminating all the null values, and is there any unknown data, unwanted data, if you want to filter. That's the reason I'm using next filter component. So here it is going to clean the data. So if the IATA column having nulls or blanks, if the airport is having nulls or blanks, if the state is having nulls or blanks, just simply filter the data. So we have to pick only not qualified this values. That is the reason we are going to use this null component clean as a filter component. So your table data converted to the tabular format, and then you are filtering the data. And next step is, this is a calculator component. So this calculator component, what it is going to do? So from the source, what are the columns which is coming from the source? See, this particular data having how many columns? 3, 4, 7. And there is no date, there is no current date or whatever date which is going to process. So that's, you are adding from the source, you are not getting the current date or active date, but in the target you are going to add that column. Even sometimes your transformation saying like source, whatever columns is there in target may have more columns. How you are going to generate new columns? That is the reason they are using new component that is called calculator. Here we are adding some new column that is called current date. So you are going to process the current date also into the target table, like how you are implementing a series. You want to add some timestamp also in target, right? So this is how you can able to add your timestamp. So there is already existing, these are all the airport idata logging, these are all the existing variables, but we are adding new component that is called, if you want to one more, you just click the plus symbol. You can add how many columns you want to send additionally to your target. So the column name is lost updated. So we are going to keep the current underscore date as a function we are using, so that it's going to take the all the current date timestamps here. So now from your source, which is having the 7 columns, and there is one more column added, that is called 8th column, that is called lost updated through this particular calculator option. And next thing is, we are going to use another component that is called distinct component, which is going to use the, if there is any duplicate values, you want to avoid duplicate values, just we are using the distinct keyword, so that it's going to take only the unique records into the all the columns we are taking. So whatever values which is coming as a, if you have to consider as a, how the select distinct star from table, it's going to work in the same way it's going to work here. So far it's clear, right? Now from the source, the first step is we loaded data from S3 to Snowflake landing tables. From there, the data which is coming in the JSON format, and we are going to flatten the data using flatten variant component. You just converted the data. After that, you are doing some cleaning operations here, saying like if there is any null values, if there is any additional current timestamp you want to add, and if you want to remove any duplicates, all these things just we are organizing and clearly managing with the all the cleaning operations here in this particular step. And next step, so far it's clear. Now, the data which is available here, this table also converted as a tabular form, and there is another table called lookup stage table. So you want to join these two tables based on what column you want to join, the condition based on state. So this table state and this table state, we have to use the join. Then only you can able to bring the new name. So for that purpose, we are going to use the next step is join component. So here we have directly available. If you just search here components, you can find all these things, whatever is there. So if you want to use it, right? So directly use these components. And next thing is we are going to use like this join component. So if you see the properties of this join component, so which table from the source data is coming? So we are going to provide the join. So main table name, whatever name which is giving, we are giving the alias name as A. Generally, we are using alias names in SQL, right? In the same way, they use alias name as A. And which table you want to join? This is the join table you are going to use. Which table? Matillion US state lookup. This is the table you are joining. So then this table also having alias name as yes. We are giving alias name as yes. So we are using left join the records which is matching and non-matching from the left table. Which is left table here? The main driving table coming from the source. So that is the left table it is going to take. Here itself we can apply whether you want to take the inner join, left join, right join, full join. Based on that it's going to behave here. Now here we are considering as a left join, so that's the reason it's going to use as a left. Now click OK. So this is the properties, and also join condition also we need to mention. We know what is a join condition. So A as the left table, S as the right table, and A table state is equal to S table state. Means the data which is coming from the stage airports as a semi-structured data, and this table state is equal to, and this right table code, that is the condition they used. So here see S is the right table code, and the main JSON data having state, this is the join condition we are using, and that condition we clearly specified here. So that is what it's going to get. So once you join two tables, what tables you are going to bring the output? From the left table, like original table, airport, idata, city, state, country, latitude, longitude, last updated we just generated from the calculator, and there is two columns which are we are going to bring into the target table, that is called name and code. These two columns which is coming from other table, that tables also we are adding to send into the final table. That's the reason these are all the input and output columns mapping we are adding here. So once you add same thing, whatever logics, whatever steps we added in the background, it's generating some SQL statement also. See, this is what the SQL statement. If you know the SQL, we can clearly understand what we are doing. So that's this SQL statement automatically generated in the background. So this Matillion, all these ETL tools, main purpose is most of the people are weak in SQL. So it's going to simplify their knowledge. That's the reason it's this kind of tools come into the market. That's going to helpful for the people. See, if you see the all the column names like airport, whatever column names you want to get it, and you are applying clearly the left outer join, and we are using alias names and also join condition. All these things we are already aware of. So I'm expecting you guys having some join knowledge. So once you join the data, so from see here we are using another input table. Why? Because this is another table we have to use the data which is coming from here as a main source data, and join table we are using here. So once you add this table input also, so that finally it is going to send into the final table, that is called table output as a another component in table output where you want to load this data. All this data it is going to load into the final table. What is that? This is called Matillion dim airports. This is the final table where here you provided clearly the database name, schema name. So what is the final name? Target table Matillion dim airport. This is the final table having all the converted or joined data, and whatever columns you want to load, all these column names also clearly specified and used, so that it's going to, so here there is an option called truncate. Every time this table is going to truncate and load. So all this table is getting truncate and load. So once you run this job, once you execute this job, automatically see from this is the first one is orchestration job, and dim airports, this is the last component from the orchestration that is going to call entire this logic whatever we discussed. And first it is going to execute entire creating tables, and then we can call, this is going to call in the background the transformation job, and that's finally it's going to load the data into the final table. If you see the final table which is having dim, this is the dimension which is having the data after the join conditions and cleaning operations and everything, and if you see the ITA, airport, city, and state and country information which is coming from the other join table, latitude and longitude also coming from one table, state name is coming from the join table, loss generated, this date is just we created based on the calculator. As per the business, we just defined this column and we just created and processed into the final table. This is how we can process the data, like we can use the join conditions, and we can use like whatever information, how to create the tables, how to apply transformations, how to define new columns, how to convert data from semi-structured data to structured data. So all these things we can explain clearly through this example. So these tables and these jobs is readily available automatically. These are all the default jobs created by the Matillion for our better understanding. So whoever created new Matillion account, so through Snowflake, automatically these jobs are available in your trial account. Just we have to learn, just we have to open and we have to configure your database schema name and the table properties. Automatically all this data come into your Snowflake tables, and you can see, we can understand step by step easily on your own. So this is, we no need to develop anything, just we have to understand whatever is there existing in your Snowflake account, right? Just you can use and access it on your own. So this is how you can define and you can use your Matillion with the Snowflake integration and processing semi-structured data to structured data and all these things. In interviews, we need to explain like what is the orchestration job, what is transformation job, what are the different components you used, how you converted semi-structured data to structured data, what components you used, what steps you used. So how you clean the data, how you join the data, how you merge the your orchestration job and transformation job, how you managed all these things. These are all the things we have to if you explain properly all these options step by step, right? So it's definitely is going to helpful for your knowledge. So that's all about understanding this Matillion and Snowflake in detail with the semi-structured data. And sometimes you can use the APIs also from the source, and how you can use the APIs and processing the data to target all these things also you can understand on your own.